Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Sumana Kutoni and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Canadian troops being deployed to Poland on humanitarian mission. COVID-19 vaccines in national stockpiles starting to expire as uptake slows. Toronto Police unveils largest single-day illicit drug seizure in Force's history. Tesla CEO Elon Musk offers to buy Twitter for $43 billion. Ottawa pledges cash for supply chain problems, but plenty of gaps persist. Ford open to extending mask mandate for high-risk settings, advises people to be cautious over long weekend. Russian billionaire is behind the mansion that housed the royalties Harry and Meghan. Why immigrants are set to have a bright future in Canada's labor market. Guerrero slugs 3 HRs despite gash on hand, Blue Jays beat Yankees. Nurse says young Raptors must be prepared for a roller coaster series with Philadelphia. So those were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details. Members of the Canadian Armed Forces are going to be deployed to Poland on a humanitarian mission to support Ukrainian refugees who have fled the Russian invasion. During an announcement at the Canadian Force Base Trenton this morning, Defense Minister Anita Anand said the mission will help to ensure Ukrainians fleeing the war receive the best support possible. Anand said authorized up to 150 troops to join the mission, but only 100 will be deployed for the time being. They will assist with the processing of refugees as well as provide medical support services. The federal budget tabled last week committed on additional $500 million in military aid to Ukraine.
To help address the growing crisis at the border between Poland and Ukraine, I am announcing today the deployment of up to 150 Canadian Armed Forces personnel, with approximately 100 personnel in the immediate term who will assist Poland's efforts to support and care for Ukrainians fleeing violence. The majority will come from Edmonton and Kingston and through here in Trenton in the coming days. Now, over the next few months, our military will provide support across 3 lines of effort. First, we will be deploying armed forces members to reception centers across Poland to assist with the immediate care and processing of Ukrainian refugees. This is the largest component of our deployment to Poland. Our people will provide general support, spiritual services, and limited medical care enabled by Ukrainian-speaking CAF personnel. Second, we will deploy a number of members in support of a Polish-led humanitarian assistance task force. We will work with military members and other government representatives from Canada, from Poland, and from other allies to synchronize efforts from more than one.
Health Canada says almost 1.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines held in a national inventory have expired since January. The government says this is a relatively new issue because the dose deliveries were aligned with the demand until last year. But the uptake of vaccine has slowed even as government and public health authorities urge people to get a booster shot. Health Canada said in a written statement that it's working to manage doses to limit expiration, including donating when possible and working with the manufacturers to see if the expired doses can still be used safely. Pfizer's shelf life was extended from 6 months to 9 months last summer and Moderna's 7 months to 9 months in December. Toronto police have charged a 29-year-old after finding a more than 280 kilograms of drugs in his stash house, which they say is the largest seizure of the illicit drugs in the force's history. According to Pogue, member of the Toronto Police's drug squad were investigating near Yonge Street and the Esplanade on April 2nd. A 29-year-old suspect who had 50 kgs of powder cocaine in his possession was stopped in an underground parking lot and taken into custody. After obtaining a warrant, investigators searched a condo unit associated with the suspect, which they believed to be a stash house. It was there that they found the remaining coke and crystal. We believe that the stash house was used to house these drugs and distribute to our local neighborhood and our surrounding communities. Tesla CEO Elon Musk is offering to buy Twitter, saying the social media platform he has criticized for not living up to free speech principle needs to be transformed as a private company. Twitter Incorporated said in a regulatory filing today that Musk, currently the company's biggest shareholder, has proposed buying the remaining shares of Twitter that he doesn't already own at $54.20 per share, an offer worth more than $43 billion. Musk called that price as his best and final offer, although he provided no details on financing. The offer is non-bidding and subject to financing and other conditions. Shares of Twitter rose about 4% in morning trading. The stock is still down from its 52-week high of about $73. Ottawa plans to spend more than $500 million to fix supply chain issues, but experts say it falls far short of the kind of comprehensive strategy needed to address long-standing problems. Backed up supply chains can lead to price hikes, product shortages, and delays affecting everything from semiconductors to cold cuts. The extra money laid out in the budget is sure to help, but on top of more cash, what's needed is more cohesive approach to overall flow of the goods into and out of the country, says Carlo Day, director of the Canada West Foundation's Trade and Investment Center. Yes, we need more money, but God help us, we must be able to spend that money intelligently, he said in an interview. It's been an international enigma for the last 2 years who really owns the lavish Vancouver Island estate where Prince Harry and Meghan wintered in 2020 as they reportedly hashed out their plan to step back from official royal duties. We found the answer, and it does indeed involve a Russian, but it wasn't easy. It took an international leak of tax haven data, access to companies' international records, and intense search. All that experts say show once again just how opaque Canada is when it comes to the assets like real estate and who owns it. Milner-run investment funds took early position in Facebook and Twitter before those companies went public, stakes that generated mega profits. But as journalists revealed in 2017, about half of the capital for his firm's investment in the Twitter came from VTB Bank, the number 2 bank in Russia, which is the majority owned by the state. From an immigration policy perspective, one of the biggest concerns is how a recession will impact the labor market performance of immigrants who obtained permanent residence during a period of economic downturn. Research shows that such immigrants may see their labor market outcomes negatively impacted for the rest of their careers in Canada. This is alarming considering the major shock to the Canadian economy at the start of the pandemic and Canada seeking to welcome the highest level of immigration in its history. But a closer look suggests that COVID-19's recession is different, and immigrants who have recently landed or who will be landing soon are still poised for the bright future in Canadian labor market. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. shook off a bloody gash on his right ring finger to hit 3 home runs against the rival Yankees, including 2 off ace Jarrett Cole, and the Toronto Blue Jays beat New York 6-4 last night. George Springer hit a tie-breaking single in the 7th, and Toronto held off the Yankees despite homers from Anthony Rizzo, Aaron Judge, and the Gleyber Torres, and a fly in the 8th by pitch hitter Giancarlo Stanton that was caught on the warning track. Guerrero had a big hand in that. 3 years after the Toronto Raptors played Philadelphia in Eastern Conference semifinals that came down to the last thrilling shot, the Raptors coach is expecting another fiercely fought series against the 76ers. His message to his young team: if you get knocked down, better be back on your feet quick. The Raptors have faced Philly twice before in the postseason. They lost in 7 games in the second round in 2001 when Vince Carter's shot at the buzzer changed off the rim. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Simona Kutoni, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night and take care.